Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I am going to be filming another reaction video. My reaction videos got a lot of really positive comments, so I think you guys enjoy these. So I thought I would do another one. Someone actually recommended doing a Fourth Wing reaction video, so here we are. So I will be reacting to 5-star reviews of The Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yaros. If you haven't checked out my review of that, it was like a 40-minute rant where my blood pressure went very high. And it took me a few days to get over how bad this book is. I still can't believe it's getting so much love. Like I just don't understand. Like it's an objectively poorly written book. There's so many things that don't make sense. So if you want to go watch that, I'll tag it in my description down below. But without further ado, I'm going to read 10 of these. Again, I had someone pick these out for me, so I don't know what they're saying. I haven't read them. As always, disclaimer, this is all for fun. This is entertainment value. I don't have any opinions on these people. I genuinely don't care. People are entitled to their opinion. I've said this before. So this is all in jest. No hard feelings to anybody who loved this book. If you love this book, good for you. This is just me having a bit of fun. And it was requested in my defense. All right, so now we have the first one. I am officially obsessed with this book. Having turned the last page over an hour ago, I'm still staring into the void, having no idea what to do with myself, and genuinely considering going back and rereading it again straight away. It's that good. Add this one to your TBRs, folks, and hit those pre-order buttons because it is phenomenal. I had the exact same reaction, but for the opposite reason. I was staring into the void because I was wondering why I just wasted so much of my life reading this book. I had no idea what to do with myself, because I was so confused as to why people love this book. And I was genuinely considering going back and rereading it again to see if what I had read is actually real. So I think we're pretty aligned. Next one. All in caps lock. This book was so good and addicting. I absolutely want to live in this universe. Reminded me so much of Divergent, but with dragons, and I was totally here for it. Also, the ending, question mark. Help, I am in shock. I need the second book ASAP. Also, fully in love with Xaden. Like, highly obsessed. Not getting over it. Violet and Xaden are perf. Heart emoji. The ending? I'm in shock. Really? Like, really? Like, genuinely, really. I saw that from page 1. Like, genuinely, from the first chapter, I knew that he was going to be alive. I knew that was coming. So I find it honestly quite shocking that people didn't see that coming because it was so heavily emphasized. Damn. Also, fully in love with Xaden. Why? He's so boring. He's so wet. He doesn't have a personality. He's just so dull. He's recent 2.0, but like not in a good way. So we'll have to agree to disagree on that one. I was lucky enough to get an early copy of this book from the publisher. I loved it. It was a mix of Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey and Naomi Novik's Scholomance series. It had all my favourite tropes, enemies to lovers being one. The main protagonist is not your typical badass, but she's determined and smart and a bit reckless. Highly recommend it. I mean, they're not really enemies though, in the sense that he's never really tried to kill her. Like, he never tries to kill her once during the entire thing. She thinks he's her enemy because of something that she's been told, but they're not actually enemies because there's never any actual things that, like, he doesn't try to kill her at any point. Like, if he tried to kill her, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, they're enemies. But he doesn't see her like that. So they're not enemies to lovers. It's a misunderstanding. And I really want to read Dragon Riders of Pern by Anne McCaffrey. And I'm really curious to see if she's read this book and how she'd feel about her series being compared to this. Next one. Here to confirm that this book is worth all the hype and so much more. 5 freaking stars for the vibes alone. It had me losing all the sleep and I literally did not care. So you want a book that gives Divergent, How to Drown Your Dragon, Hunger Games and Daenerys from Game of Thrones energy, then holy shit, this book is for you. I'm just going to interject here. The fact that you are comparing Daenerys Targaryen to one of the most ridiculous, dumbest, just blandest characters to have ever been written is beyond me. Beyond me. Please, people, are you seriously trying to tell me that this girl, I can't even remember her name, Violet, You seriously trying to tell me that she is like Daenerys? Seriously. Continuing on. You get enemies to lovers, found family, and an incredible slow burn. Again, not enemies to lovers. Found family, okay, sure. Barely, though. Incredible slow burn. I mean, how is it a slow burn? We literally get from, like, the second chapter how attracted she is to him. Like, come on. Continuing on. The writing was done so well in this book. I'm sorry. You've lost all credibility. I'm moving on to the next one. I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. I just don't understand how you can say the writing was done so well. Like, that is just ridiculous. All right, we're going to move on to the next one because I feel like I'm going to get more high blood pressure if I continue reading that. I feel so lucky to have gotten an arc of this book. It's truly one of my forever favourites now. If you love steamy romantic fantasy, I highly recommend this one. An exhilarating dragon ride of a fantasy. Brutal, fast-paced, compelling, and simmering with romantic tension that left me on the edge of my seat. Fourth Wing is everything I want in a book and more. Phenomenal. Move this one to the top of your TBR. I mean, fine. Like, sure, it is definitely fast-paced. Is it brutal? In theory, it sounds brutal, but the stakes aren't actually that high. Is it compelling? Personally, no. Simmering with romantic tension. Again, I think that's a stretch, but sure. All right, next one. I've been around on this website for at least 13 years, and if you take one recommendation from me, let this book be it. For the life, if me, I cannot find a flaw. It's that good. Waiting for the second book will feel like it will take years instead of months, but I'm so glad I read this. Okay, the one thing that I've learned from you is that you have poor taste in books. Like, if this is the one book that you recommended to me and I read this book, I'd be like, I'm never ever taking a book recommendation from you ever again. I'm never taking anything from you ever again because I would genuinely question your life decisions at this point. That was quite harsh, but also kind of true. All right, next one. This is quite long. This is what I would call giving into the hype as the best idea. Generally, I steer clear from overhyped books because of their reputation for spoilers, but this one was quite amazing. I love the world building and the scenic descriptions were totally on point. Honestly speaking, this is the first fantasy book I read where I haven't skimmed the picturesque descriptions. That's because there's barely any, so I don't know what you're talking about. The beginning itself sucked me right into the world of Navarre and Basgiath College. The main character, aka Violet, was someone who I strongly resonated with. It was an absolute delight to read about her journey. Although certain plotlines were quite predictable, I loved it regardless. Fair. If you find it predictable and you still enjoy that, fair enough. The tension between the lead characters was simply chef's kiss, marvellous, although towards the end I felt that it was quite a bit rushed and lost a bit of interest. But the last 10% more than made up for it. Also, I would like to say that I knew it, at least I predicted one right thing about the climax. I felt like quite a detective after solving this riddle. I'm sorry, it was really not that hard to see, my love. It was very much present from chapter 1 that that ending was going to happen. But now I have so many questions. Can't wait to read the next book. Hopefully it releases soon. P.S. Yeah, I mean, this one I feel like is a bit more balanced. I mean, I'm still surprised she gave it 5 stars considering the amount of issues that she had with it. But yeah, again, I don't think this book is going to make you feel like Sherlock Holmes if you manage to guess that ending. All right, next one. I think I've got 2 or 3 left. This book made me feel all the feels. In the beginning, I was intrigued and hooked. The middle part had me squealing, giggling, and kicking my feet. And the last 30 pages had me choking on my tears. I couldn't see straight. The romance was chef's kiss. He literally calls her violence. Like, please, that's so hot. When's my turn? I said this in my review. It doesn't even make sense that he calls her violence because she's not violent. And every single time there's an opportunity for her to use violence, she literally does a 180 and picks a different route. So again, make it make sense. The dragons, OMG, the dragons, they were amazing. 10, I love his grumpy ass. The ending, question mark. I predicted some twist, but I did not see coming. The last line, question mark. Miss Rebecca, how could you end your book like that? Rude. Again, I don't know how you didn't see that coming. Like, it was literally obvious from the first chapter, guys. The reviews weren't lying. Yes, they were. This book is going to be my personality for the rest of my life. You'll have to read it or else I'll find a dragon and torch you. Please do torch me so that I never have to hear you talking about it again. All right. I think this will be... I think I've got 2 more left. I know some of y'all are praying this book is not worth the hype, but bestie, it is. No, it's not. I don't even know how to summarize my feelings for this book, but literally less than 100 pages and I was like, oh, I'm getting a tattoo for this book because it was just so incredible. Interesting. Divergent meets Game of Thrones meets How to Train Your Dragon and the Hunger Games times 1000. It is nothing like Game of Thrones and it is nothing like the Hunger Games. Please stop dragging incredible fiction into this because they are nothing alike. Like, I am insulted on behalf of Suzanne Collins and JR and George Martin. Like, I'm insulted on their behalf. Violet was basically set up to be a scribe. I'm gonna skip the next paragraph because she's just talking about the plot. Violet was incredible. She had so much development into her true and crazy self. She was so cunning. I literally have no words. Like, I don't understand how you can call her cunning. She's so stupid. She's literally the dumbest character I've ever read. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find someone who doesn't identify with some point of her journey. She really made the book for me. No, I don't identify with her at all. And of course, you have the most delicious, slow-burn, tension-filled enemies to lovers romance. Again, not enemies to lovers. The banter and connection were everything. Xander so believed in her and her potential more than any of her loved ones, and God, their chemistry was just so hot. It really wasn't, though. I'm also in love with Ten, her dragon, but we're not talking about that right now. Ten, I get. I said this in my review. The one thing I liked about the book was Ten. He was super, like, dry and sarcastic, which I love. This is book one of what will be a series, but don't wait on this one. You absolutely should wait and not read it. Last one. Can I give a book 10 stars because it broke the scale? This is one of my favourite books of all time now. This is what reading should feel like. It sucked me in literally by page 3. It had all my favourite tropes. I was invested in the characters. It had the most insane plot twist ending. Like, my jaw was hanging open to the last page. I need book 2 immediately. Y'all might get mad at me for this, but I liked it better than most SJM books. That's not really saying much because her writing is shocking. There wasn't a single page of the book where I felt bored. I almost never stay up late reading books anymore because I always have the self-control to put it down. But with this one, zero self-control. I was always dying to know what happened next and wanted to jump back into the world of a Dragon Rider War College. I seriously cannot give this book enough praise. It will stick with me forever and I will definitely reread it many, many times. This is going to be the next big thing in fantasy. If you've ever going to trust me with a book rec, this is the one. My whole heart and soul are behind this one. And this one is interesting because she talks about how it's got her favourite tropes and how, you know, she was invested in it, and that's fair enough. That's fair. Like, again, you do like what you like. But to say that the plot twist, like, left her jaw hanging, honestly makes me question. It does make me wonder. And, I mean, there wasn't a single page of this book where I felt bored. I don't agree with that. I mean, again, personal experience, but there were many points in this book where I was just rolling my eyes and I was like, this is just so repetitive. I do agree with her on the kind of whole concept of the world of a Dragon Rider War College. I actually like that concept. I just don't think it was explored at all well. So I really hope somebody does actually do a very similar story but writes it better. But yeah, I mean, can I give a book 10 stars because it broke the scale? Can I give it 0 stars? I mean, I guess I can. But yeah. I have to say these comments have not at all persuaded me that this is a good book. Like I said, objectively bad book for the many reasons that I listed in my review. But again, like I said at the start, disclaimer, this is all fun. Again, if you like this book, you like this book, and more power to you. It's meant to be funny and it's meant to be enjoyable. But again, I do question your life decisions. That's it for this video, folks. Stay safe as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Also, if there's any books you want me to react to, comment down below and I will put it on the list. Thanks, bye.